Night shift was usually slow for Nurse Lena Ward, but that night felt strange from the moment she entered the hospital. The air was too quiet, the halls too empty, and even the lights seemed a little dimmer. She felt something heavy in her chest, a warning she could not explain. Still, she tried to ignore it and started her normal work, checking charts and adjusting equipment for the upcoming patients. But then the alarms shattered the silence. A red emergency light flashed across the walls. Doctors began shouting orders. Security ran to the entrance. Lena froze for a second, confused. This was not a normal medical emergency. It felt bigger, heavier, almost dangerous. She rushed toward the noise and saw something she never thought she would see in her entire life. Government rescue teams stormed into the hospital with a small girl in their arms. But the girl was not human. Her skin was pale blue and glowing, in patches like broken stars under her skin. Her hair floated softly as if she were underwater. Her breathing was rapid and shallow, each breath sounding painful. Everyone around her looked terrified. "Move! She is dying!" One officer yelled. Doctors backed away. Nobody knew what to do. People whispered in fear. "Her species cannot survive Earth's air," one doctor said, shaking his head. "She will die in minutes," another whispered. Lena felt her heart twist. The girl was so small. She looked no older than 8. She was shaking, her fingers curling like she was grabbing at life itself. "She needs help," Lena said. "She cannot be saved," the chief doctor replied. "Her biology is too fragile. Our oxygen burns her skin." But Lena saw something the others did not. The girl's eyes opened for a second, just a tiny moment, and she looked directly at Lena. Fear, pain, a silent cry for help that hit Lena harder than anything she had ever felt. The girl whispered one word, barely audible, but Lena heard it clearly: "Help." Lena took a step forward before she even realized she was moving. Something inside her refused to let that child die alone in a room full of people afraid to touch her. "We have to try," Lena said. "We don't have equipment for alien treatment." A doctor argued. "Specialists are coming." "Step away, Nurse Ward." But Lena could not step away. She saw the girl's skin sizzling from the oxygen in the room. She saw her chest lifting slower, weaker. She saw life slipping away, second by second. The rescue officer placed the girl on a bed. Machines beeped and screamed warnings. The officers stepped back, waiting for higher orders, while the doctors argued about protocols and safety. But Lena moved. She grabbed a low-oxygen tent from the storage cabinet and rushed toward the girl. "What are you doing?" the chief doctor shouted, trying to save her. Lena said firmly. She covered the girl with the tent, sealing it carefully so the oxygen levels dropped. The beeping slowed a little. The girl's burning skin began to calm. Her breathing stopped, shaking so violently. The other doctors watched in shock. No one had thought something this simple could help. Lena's hands were shaking, but she kept working. She adjusted the tent, fixed the filters, placed soft padding under the girl's head, and checked her vitals again and again. She felt like time was racing against her, pushing her, testing her. A government officer stepped closer. "Nurse Ward, stop. You do not understand what you are dealing with." "Neither do you," Lena replied. The officer frowned. "This girl belongs to a species humans fear. They are unstable, dangerous." "She is a child," Lena said, looking down at the small alien girl with soft eyes. "And right now she is dying." The officer hesitated. No one had ever spoken back to him. Like that, Lena noticed a strange mark on the girl's arm, a glowing symbol shaped like a circle broken in the middle. She had never seen anything like it. It made her wonder who the girl was and why she was brought here of all places. The alarms continued beeping, reminding everyone that the girl still hovered between life and death. Lena placed her hand near. The girl's not touching but close enough for comfort. "Stay with me," she whispered. The girl's glowing eyes opened again, just a little. She looked at Lena as if she recognized something. Safety, maybe hope. Everyone around Lena watched her like she was doing something impossible, and maybe she was, because at that moment, the audience and everyone in the hospital had the same question. Why is this human nurse willing to risk everything for an alien child who should not even survive Earth? Asterisk, the small alien girl lay under the low oxygen tent, her glowing skin dimming like a fading light bulb. Nurse Lena Ward stood beside her, adjusting the settings again and again, checking every number, every breath, every heartbeat, but it still wasn't enough. The girl was alive, but barely. Doctors crowded around the room, whispering nervously. No one wanted to get too close. Fear was stronger than compassion, and Lena could feel it in the air like a cold wind. She is still crashing, Lena said, keeping her voice calm even though her hands trembled. We need to stabilize her temperature. Lena, step back, the chief doctor said. We don't understand her biology. We don't even know if touching her is safe. Lena ignored him. She placed a thermal blanket over the tent, creating a warm layer around the child. The machines beeped softly as the numbers shifted, climbing just enough to give Lena hope. A weak pulse, unsteady, but still there. The girl's blue fingers twitched as if reaching for someone. Lena felt her chest tighten. She needs comfort. Not fear, Lena said softly. The government officers exchanged stiff looks. One of them walked forward, a tall man with a hard face and sharp eyes. You have done more than expected, Nurse Ward, he said. But this situation is now under government control. Step away from the alien. Lena didn't move. She has a name. You don't know that, he replied coldly. She whispered something, Lena said. Korea. The room went silent. The officer stared at her with sudden interest, as if that name carried weight. So she spoke to you, he said slowly. She was scared, Lena replied. The officer lowered his voice. If she bonds with a human, it could be dangerous. Her species does not bond the way we do. Their emotions can trigger biological reactions. They are unstable. But Lena wasn't listening anymore, because Korea's breathing was dropping again. The tent wasn't enough. The machines weren't enough. The entire hospital wasn't enough. Lena leaned in, watching the alien girl's chest rise and fall slower and slower. Her glowing veins flickered weakly under her skin, like dying stars. We're losing her, Lena whispered. What do you suggest? A doctor asked, fear shaking his voice. Lena looked at the girl. Her instinct, not science, guided her now. We need to reduce stress, Lena said. Her body reacts to fear. If she feels safe, maybe she will stabilize. That is not medical protocol, the chief doctor snapped. She is not a human patient, Lena replied firmly. We cannot use human rules on her. Then she did something no one expected. She carefully reached under the tent and took Korea's trembling hand. The officers gasped. A few doctors stepped back. One nurse covered her mouth. Instead of burning her skin, the girl's glowing fingers wrapped weakly around Lena's hand, as if holding onto life itself. A soft hum vibrated through the tent, a sound no machine made. Korea's skin glowed brighter for a moment, responding to human touch. Her heartbeat, which was seconds from stopping, steadied. The chief doctor stared in disbelief. That should not be possible. The government officer glared. This is exactly why humans should not interfere with alien biology. But Lena wasn't afraid. She kept holding Korea's hand gently, speaking in a soft voice. You're not alone, Lena whispered. You're safe, I promise. Korea's eyes fluttered open. They glowed faintly, reflecting the soft silver light. She tried to speak, her voice thin and broken. Warm, she whispered. Lena felt her heart twist. This child wasn't a monster. She wasn't a threat. She was frightened, fragile, and far from home. She feels human warmth, Lena said. It's helping her. That is not logical, the chief doctor muttered. But it was happening. The government officer stepped forward, expression tense. Nurse Ward, if her biology links to you, it could mark you. It could change you. Lena didn't let go. She's a little girl. I'm not leaving her. The machines beeped again, faster this time. Korea's vital signs were rising. Slowly but surely. The officer clenched his jaw. He didn't like what he was seeing. Her species is dangerous, he insisted. They adapt under threat. If she adapts too much, she could become something we cannot control. Lena shook her head. She's adapting to survive, not to destroy. Korea blinked at her, eyes full of fear but also trust. She lifted her small hand, placing it on Lena's wrist, leaving a faint glowing mark on her skin. A symbol, a connection. Doctors gasped again. What is happening? One whispered. She is bonding, the officer said quietly. And once the bond begins, it cannot be undone. Lena looked down at the alien girl whose life hung by a thread. Then I will stay with her, Lena said. Whatever it takes. And in that moment, everyone watching realized something shocking. This normal human nurse was now the only person standing between Korea and death, and maybe the only barrier between Earth and something far bigger than any of them understood. Korea's small hand still glowed faintly against Lena's wrist, leaving a strange shimmering mark that pulsed softly like a heartbeat. The doctor stared as if they had just witnessed something impossible. The government officers exchanged tense looks, whispering into their radios. But Lena didn't move. She stayed right beside the alien girl, holding her gently, keeping her calm. Korea's breathing was steadier now, but not safe. Her body shook with every inhale. Her skin flickered between bright and dim, as if fighting something inside her. Lena watched closely, her instincts sharp. She's stabilizing, Lena said softly. No. The government officer replied, stepping closer. She's changing, Lena frowned. What do you mean? But before he could answer, Korea suddenly clutched Lena's hand tightly. Her eyes shot open, glowing a deeper silver than before. She gasped, her whole body trembling as though she were in pain. Korea? Lena said, leaning in. I'm here, you're okay. The small alien girl's voice cracked as she whispered, cold, hurts. Air burns. Lena felt a wave of sadness. Korea's body was not designed for Earth. Every breath was a battle, every second a danger. And yet, she was trying, fighting, holding on. The government officer spoke sharply. Her species reacts to fear. Touching her might trigger another transformation, move back. But Lena refused. Fear is what's hurting her. She needs calm. You don't understand. Then explain, Lena said. The officer hesitated, his jaw tight. He didn't want to reveal more, but Lena's determination forced him. Her species can reshape their bodies, he said. But only under extreme stress. Sometimes it destroys them. Sometimes it makes them unstable. If she adapts too much, she may lose control. Lena looked at the child in front of her, shaking, weak, fragile. She's not dangerous. She's scared. Korea. Small fingers curled around Lena's wrist again. A soft light wrapped around both of them, forming a faint connection. It felt warm, not painful. Like trust. But suddenly, alarms exploded across the room. Korea's glowing veins brightened rapidly, spreading across her arms like rivers of silver fire. Her skin heated under the tent. Machines screamed warnings. Lena's heart jumped. She's overheating, one doctor yelled. She's destabilizing again, another cried. The glowing line spread faster, reaching her neck. Then her face. Korea arched her back in pain as a sharp pulse of light burst from her chest. Shaking the tent. Doctors ran backward, terrified. What is happening? One shouted. Lena felt panic rising, but she forced herself to stay calm. She leaned closer, ignoring the alarms. "Karia, look at me," she whispered. "You're safe. Don't be afraid." But the girl couldn't hear her. She was trapped inside her own body, fighting a transformation she didn't understand. Lena reached forward and placed her hand gently on Karia's cheek through the tent. Instantly, the light inside the girl slowed, the glowing veins pulsing less violently. Her trembling eased. Her breathing steadied. The alarms decreased one by one. "It's responding to her," a doctor whispered. "Her touch, her voice. It's helping the alien stabilize." The government officer's eyes narrowed. "This is not normal. Why her? Why only her?" Karia opened her eyes again, softer this time. She looked at Lena, not at the officers, not at the machine, not at the doctors, only at Lena. She whispered one word again, but this time it sounded clearer. "Safe." Lena swallowed hard. She felt something deep, something she had no words for. This child trusted her, needed her, chose her. "It's not random," Lena said quietly. "She bonded to me." "That is exactly the problem," the officer replied. "You don't know what that bond means." But Lena didn't care about theoretical dangers. She cared about the child who would die without her. Suddenly, a soft hum began inside the tent again. A light formed around Karia's small body, outlining her shape. Lena leaned in, worried. What now? The girl lifted her hand slowly and pressed her palm against the inside of the tent. Her glowing fingers traced a small circle. The same symbol burned onto her skin. Lena stared. The symbol looked ancient, meaningful. But she didn't know what it meant. Karia whispered again, voice fading. "Not alone." Then she collapsed. The machine screamed again. Doctors rushed forward. "She's crashing again. Her vitals are dropping fast. We're losing her." Panic exploded across the room, but Lena was already moving. She ripped open the tent and placed both hands on the girl's shoulders, ignoring the scorching heat from her skin. "Karia!" Lena shouted. "Stay with me. I'm here." The girl's eyes flickered open for half a second, silver, shaking, then closed again. The officer pointed. "She is linking to you. If she dies like this, that link could—" "I don't care," Lena yelled. "She's not dying." The alarms kept screaming. Karia's body dimmed, and the audience is left wondering, what secret inside Karia's body is trying to awaken? And why is Lena the only human who can stop it? Chaos filled the hospital. Alarms echoed through. Every hall, doctors shouted instructions, and the glowing marks on Karia's skin faded dangerously fast. Lena refused to let go of the small alien girl, even when the heat burned her palms. She held on, whispering soft words, trying to keep the girl anchored to life. But suddenly, everything changed. A deep mechanical alarm sounded, not a medical one, but a security one. Doors slammed shut. Metal barriers dropped from the ceiling. Armed soldiers stormed the hall. The hospital lights turned red as if warning everyone. This was no longer a medical emergency. This was government control. The officers spread out, surrounding the room. Their weapons were not pointed, but ready. Their faces were tense, cold, and emotionless. The tall officer from earlier stepped forward, his eyes locked on Lena. "Step away from the alien child," he ordered. "Now," Lena shook her head. "She's dying. I can't leave her." "That is not your choice anymore," he said firmly. "You have already interfered beyond protocol." Karia's weak body trembled under Lena's hands. The small alien girl whispered something, barely audible. "Lena, stay." The soldiers glanced at one another. A child's voice, alien or not, softened even hardened hearts. But the officer in charge remained unmoved. He signaled his team. 2 soldiers stepped forward to separate Lena from Karia. Air in the room grew tight. "Don't touch her," Lena warned. The officer ignored her. "She is unstable." If she bonds any further, she may become a threat to national security. Lena felt anger rising. She is a scared child, not a weapon. She is both, the officer replied. Whether she wants to be or not. Before anyone could move, a sudden burst of silver light flashed from Korea's body, not violent like before, but a shockwave of energy. The soldiers froze in place, blinking in confusion as their equipment sparked. For everyone's safety. The officer began, but Lena cut him off. No, for your control. The officer's expression hardened. This girl's species once wiped out an entire colony by accident. Their emotional surges triggered biological energy blasts. You don't understand what she is. Lena did not. Step back. I understand that she's terrified and alone. And your fear is making her worse. Korea suddenly arched her back again, releasing another flicker of glowing energy. The machines beeped wildly. Her pulse raced, then fell, then raced again. She was spiraling out of control. The officer turned to his team. Prepare for transport. We're taking her to a secure facility. No. Lena pushed herself between them and the girl. Moving her now will kill her. She needs stability. She needs calm. She needs containment, the officer said. Sharply, Korea's trembling increased, her hands clutching the sheets tightly. Her breaths turned shallow, her glowing veins dimming dangerously. Lena leaned over her. It's okay, I'm here. I won't let them take you. Korea opened. Her eyes, tears shimmering like small silver drops. She lifted a trembling hand and touched Lena's wrist again. The mark glowed brighter. The room fell silent. One of the doctors whispered, She is connecting to Lena emotionally. That seems to stabilize her. The officer's jaw tightened. That may be true. But that bond also makes Nurse Ward unpredictable. Lena stared back at him. I'm the only one helping her survive. Or you are the one triggering her transformation, he replied coldly. Before Lena could argue, Korea tried to sit up, but her small body collapsed back in pain. A pulse of energy hit the walls, knocking over trays and instruments. The soldiers stepped back, raising their shields. Fear spread through the room. See, the officer said. This is why she cannot stay here. But Lena moved even closer, leaning over Korea, shielding her with her body. She's reacting to fear. Lena said, Your presence, your weapons, you're making her panic. Korea reached for Lena weakly, whispering, Don't. Lena felt something inside her break. She lifted the child gently, cradling her fragile body against her chest. The glowing veins steadied slightly, responding to Lena's warmth again. She trusts me, Lena said softly. Please, don't take her away. For a moment, even the soldiers hesitated. The sight of the human nurse holding the small alien girl, protecting her, shook something human inside them. But the officer stepped forward again, voice colder than before. You don't understand what you are involved in, Nurse Ward, he said. This child is not supposed to survive Earth. Lena looked straight into his eyes. Then explain why she is trying so hard. Silence spread across the room. Even the officer had no answer. Korea's breathing slowed. She clung to Lena as if she were the only anchor holding her to life. And then, quietly, the officer murmured something that sent a shiver through everyone, because she might be the last of her kind. Asterisk, the words, she might be the last of her kind, hung in the air like a heavy shadow. Everyone in the room froze. Even the loud machines seemed quieter for a moment, as if they too were listening. Lena held Korea close, feeling the girl's weak breaths against her chest. The small alien child trembled, her glowing veins flickering like dying stars. Lena brushed a hand across her head gently. It's okay, she whispered. You're safe. But she wasn't. Not with soldiers surrounding them. Not with the officer watching every movement like a threat. Not with her fragile body fighting every minute to survive Earth. The officer finally spoke again, but this time his voice was lower, calmer. "Nurse Ward, you deserve the truth." Lena didn't trust him, but she listened. A new person walked in, an older scientist with tired eyes and a badge that read Dr. Hale. He looked at Kairia with sadness. "Not fear. She shouldn't be here," Dr. Hale said. "Her species, the Arin, cannot live on Earth. Not naturally." "I already know that," Lena said. "The air hurts her." Dr. Hale nodded. "Yes, but that is not the full truth." He stepped closer, hands raised to show he meant. "No harm. Arin children," he said slowly, "are born extremely fragile. Their bodies adapt as they grow. But that adaptation requires something very rare." Lena frowned. "What?" "Bond," Dr. Hale said. "A deep emotional bond with a protector. Without it, they cannot grow strong enough to survive any environment, even their own." Lena stared. "You mean she needs someone?" "Not someone," the scientist corrected softly. "She needs you." Lena felt her breath catch. "Why?" "Me?" Before Dr. Hale could answer, Kairia weakly lifted her hand, touching the glowing mark on Lena's wrist again. The mark shimmered brighter, pulsing like a small heartbeat. "She chose you," Dr. Hale whispered. "The moment she saw you." Lena shook her head. "But why?" "I'm just a nurse." "You approached her when everyone else stepped back," Dr. Hale said. "You cared. You didn't fear her. Arin children sense emotion instantly. They choose protectors based on empathy, not power." The officer crossed his arms. "He didn't." "Like where this was going. That bond," Dr. Hale continued, "is rewriting her biology as we speak. Your presence calms her. Your voice lowers her stress. Your warmth stabilizes her systems. So I'm keeping her alive," Lena said quietly. "Yes," the scientist said, "without realizing it. You became her survival." Lena looked down at Kairia. The small alien girl blinked up weakly, eyes shining with trust. "Home," Kairia whispered. The officer stepped forward. "This is exactly why she must be moved. A bonded Arin child can become powerful, too powerful." "She's a child," Lena snapped. "Not a weapon." Dr. Hale sighed. "Both of you are right. The bond gives strength, but it can also create energy surges if the child feels threatened." Lena understood instantly. The blasts earlier, they were fear. "Exactly," Dr. Hale said. "If she stays calm, she is harmless. If she panics, she reacts." Lena felt a cold worry in her stomach. Earth was dangerous for Kairia in every way, physically and emotionally. So what happens if the bond breaks? Lena asked. Dr. Hale hesitated. "If the bond ends, Kairia's body collapses. She will not survive more than a few minutes." Lena tightened her hold on the child instinctively. "Then I'm not leaving her." The officer stepped forward sharply. "You do not understand what you are agreeing to. A bond like this changes you as well, Nurse Ward." Lena stiffened. "How?" "No one knows," Dr. Hale admitted. "It is rare for an Arin child to bond with a human. Almost unheard of. Your biology may shift slightly to match hers." Lena blinked, shocked. She hadn't expected that. But when she looked at Kairia trembling, glowing faintly, clinging to her like the only safe thing in the universe, she knew her choice. "She needs me," Lena whispered. "That's enough." The officer shook his head in frustration. "We cannot let you walk out with her. She is too important." Lena looked up sharply. "Important how?" Dr. Hale answered before the officer could. "Kairia is not only the last child of her kind, she carries genetic patterns that, if preserved, could rebuild her species someday." Lena felt her heart twist. "So saving her saves an entire race?" "Yes," Dr. Hale said. "But only if she lives long enough, only if she grows, only if the bond stays strong." Korea stirred again, whispering something soft. Lena. Safe, the officer stepped forward, his expression tense. We cannot risk letting her out of our control. Lena stood up slowly, still holding the child protectively. You never had control, she said. Korea chose me, and I will protect her. For the first time, the officer looked uncertain. Dr. Hale stepped back, whispering under his breath. It seems the future of two species now depends on a single nurse. Asterisk. The room felt smaller now, filled with tension so thick it was hard to breathe. Lena stood in the center, holding Korea against her chest, the child's soft glowing skin warming her arms. The soldiers waited for orders. The officer watched her like a hawk. Dr. Hale looked torn between fear and sympathy. Lena knew one thing clearly. Korea could not survive another minute in this stressful room. Her breathing was weak again. Every loud noise made the glowing veins flicker with panic. Every time a soldier stepped forward, Korea trembled, clutching Lena's shirt like she was holding on to life. We need to move her somewhere calm, Lena said. This environment is killing her. The officer lifted a hand. We will move her, but under our control. No, Lena replied. You'll take her to some lab, some cold room, full of machines she fears. She'd die before you run your first test. The officer stiffened. Enough, hand her over. Lena held Korea tighter. Korea whimpered, whispering in a soft, broken voice. Don't leave. That whisper cut through Lena like a blade. She had made a promise. She wasn't breaking it. Dr. Hale suddenly stepped forward. Officer, let me speak freely. If the girl is moved without Nurse Ward, she will not survive the trip. Even if the facility is safe, the bond break will kill her before arrival. The officer glared. And if we allow the nurse to stay bonded, she becomes another unpredictable variable. She is the only stable variable, Dr. Hale said. Heavy silence fell. Lena felt her chance small but real. She shifted Korea gently in her arms. The girl's breathing steadied slightly when Lena whispered soothing words. Her glowing veins calmed. Her small fingers relaxed. She needs peace. Lena said, let me take her somewhere quiet, somewhere safe. Then we can talk. But the officer didn't care about gentle logic. He raised his hand. Team, secure the alien. He never finished the order. Korea suddenly let out a frightened gasp. Her glowing symbols flashed bright white. A wave of energy burst from her small body. It wasn't violent like before. It was a shield. The soldiers stumbled back as their weapons flickered. Lena felt the heat but did not fall. Korea's shield passed around her like warm wind. The child was protecting her, even in weakness. Dr. Hale stared in shock. She's defending the bond. Before the soldiers recovered, Lena made her move. She ran. Not blindly, she had memorized the hospital layout. She darted into the service hallway on the left, pushing through the door with her shoulder. It slammed behind her. Stop her! The officer shouted. The chase began. Lena sprinted down the narrow hall. Korea held against her chest. The alien. Girl tried to speak but could only whisper, safe with you. I know, Lena said, breathless. Hold on, I won't drop you. Alarms echoed everywhere. Boots pounded behind her. Soldiers shouted directions. She went down the east hall. Cut her off at the emergency elevator. Don't let her reach the ambulance bay. Lena's lungs burned, but she kept running. She took a sharp turn, dodging into the laundry corridor. She pushed carts in front of the door to stall the soldiers. Korea whimpered at every loud noise, her glowing veins flickering dangerously. It's okay, Lena whispered. Just a little more. Stay with me. She reached a locked service door. Her hospital badge scanned green, unlocking it. She slipped through and closed it quietly behind her. Now she was inside an underground maintenance tunnel. Dim lights. Narrow walls. Dust floating in the air. Perfect. She hurried down the steps, careful not to jostle the child. Finally, the tunnel opened into a parking area. The ambulance bay. The night air blew cold, but Korea pressed close, drawing warmth from Lena's heartbeat. Lena spotted a vehicle, a small supply van left near the gate. She rushed toward it, but stopped instantly. The officer stood between her and the van, flanked by 2 soldiers. He must have taken a faster route. His expression was dark, controlled, dangerous. "Nurse Ward, this ends now." Lena took a step back, shielding Korea with her body. "She will die if you take her." Lena said, "She will destroy everything if we don't," the officer replied. Korea let out a small cry. Her glowing veins brightened again, reacting to the fear. "Don't make her panic," Lena whispered urgently. "Move away." But the officer raised his hand to signal the soldiers. Korea's breathing turned sharp. Her body trembled. The glowing marks pulsed too fast. "No, no," Lena whispered. "Calm down, sweetheart. Look at me." Korea looked up weakly, tears shining in her eyes. "Lena, home." The marks on Lena's own wrist glowed in response. The bond surged, bright and alive. A protective energy wrapped around them like a shield. The soldiers stopped, unsure. The officer lowered his hand slowly, shocked by the light surrounding the nurse and the alien child. Dr. Hale arrived behind him, panting. "Sir, if you force this, she will explode with energy. Hundreds could get hurt." Silence. Only the sound of Lena's breathing and Korea's faint heartbeat filled the night. Lena stepped forward. Voice steady, "Let me save her. Just let me take her away from all this fear." The officer hesitated. For the first time, Korea's glowing fingers gripped Lena's sleeve again. The officer whispered, almost to himself, "We may not be able to stop her bond." Lena exhaled slowly, relief and terror mixing. She looked down at the fragile alien child in her arms and realized something powerful. If Earth wanted to fight this bond, they were already too late. Cold night air wrapped around the ambulance bay as Lena stood facing the officer, her arms tight around Korea, small trembling. Body. The glowing veins across the alien girl's skin flickered like candlelight in a storm. Every breath she took was weak, but she clung to Lena with all the strength she had left. The protective light surrounding them slowly faded, leaving only the mark on Lena's wrist glowing softly. The officer watched the light with a troubled expression. Soldiers stood still, afraid of triggering another energy surge. Dr. Hale stepped forward carefully. "Sir, we must let them leave. If Korea stays in this state, she won't survive." "And if we let them go?" The officer asked quietly. "What happens then? What happens if her power grows?" Dr. Hale sighed. "Then it grows. But bonded Aaron children grow in the direction of their protector's emotions. If Lena protects with kindness, the child will become peaceful." Lena took a slow breath. She felt Korea's heartbeat flutter against her chest, fading in and out like a broken rhythm. "I know you fear her," Lena said softly, "but she is a child fighting to survive. You can't punish someone for being born different." The officer met Lena's eyes. His voice dropped. "I am responsible for everyone on this planet. If she becomes dangerous, it will be my failure. And if she dies tonight," Lena replied, "it will be mine." Silence again. Korea, thus. Breathing hitched, sharp and painful. Her glowing veins dimmed. Lena's heart clenched. "We're out of time," she whispered. Dr. Hale gestured toward an abandoned research shelter in the hills, an old, atmospheric lab that once tested low oxygen environments. "Take her there," he said. "It is stable, sealed, and quiet. She can adapt safely inside." The officer hesitated, then gave a small nod. "Go," he said quietly. "But this isn't over." Lena didn't wait. She rushed to the supply Vannon placed Korea gently inside, securing her with blankets. The child whimpered, reaching for her. "Stay close." "Please," Korea whispered. "I'm right here," Lena said. She climbed into the van, started the engine, and sped into the night. The old research shelter stood hidden behind the hills, half buried in dirt and forgotten by most people. Lena parked the van and carried Korea inside. Dust floated in beams of moonlight. The air felt old but calm. She found the adaptation chamber Dr. Holley described. Round pod with adjustable oxygen and temperature settings. It hummed faintly when she activated it. Korea looked at it with fear. "No." "Alone," she whispered. Weakly. Lena knelt down. "You won't be alone. I'm staying right here." The bond mark on Lena's wrist glowed again, reacting to Korea's fear. Lena touched her cheek softly, her voice warm. "Trust me. This will help you breathe. It won't hurt you, I promise." Korea looked into Lena's eyes for a long moment, then nodded. Lena placed her inside the chamber, setting it to the low oxygen environment Korea needed. The lights inside. The pod glowed softly, matching the pulse of Korea's skin. For the first time, the girl sighed without pain. Her glowing veins stopped flickering. Her breathing steadied. Her small hands relaxed against the warm interior. Lena exhaled shakily, tears slipping down her cheeks. "You're safe now," she whispered. Korea opened her eyes again, brighter, calmer, more stable. "Lena," she sighed, her voice clearer than ever. "You saved my life." Lena touched the chamber's glass. "I didn't save you. You fought with everything you had." Korea smiled faintly. "You fought too." Minutes passed as Korea rested. Inside the chamber, her body slowly adapting. Lena watched with relief as her vital signs strengthened, but the moment didn't last. Footsteps echoed outside the shelter. Lena froze. The officer entered, but he had no soldiers with him. His hands were empty, no weapons. He looked at Korea, through the chamber glass, then at Lena. "She is stabilizing," he said quietly. "Yes," Lena replied. "Because she feels safe." The officer stepped closer. "I didn't understand before. I only saw the danger." "I never saw the child." Lena didn't answer. She didn't trust him yet. The officer looked down at the glowing mark on Lena's wrist. "That bond," he said, "it means you're connected now. Her emotions will affect you, and yours will affect her." "I know," Lena said. "Then you understand," he continued, "that you cannot abandon her, ever." Lena nodded slowly. "I won't." Korea placed her small glowing hand against the chamber glass, creating a soft light that reflected on both Lena and the officer. "Home," Korea whispered. "With Lena, home." The officer watched the scene silently, something shifting inside him. He finally spoke with a voice no longer sharp, no longer cold. "Can learn from her." Lena nodded, tears warming her eyes. "And she can learn from us." The officer took one step back. "We will protect both of you, not control you." For the first time, Lena believed him. Korea smiled, her light glowing softly across the chamber, no longer fading, no longer frightened. This small alien child had survived the place that should have killed her, because she found the one human who refused to let her die. And together, they had changed the future of two worlds,